Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in your own. If you always subscribe, please hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find the content useful, insightful, helpful, entertaining in any way, shape or form, or if you just give this channel some love. The thumbs up really do help me out, and I really appreciate every single one of you for being here. So if you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy with this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexuality.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy. Welcome to tonight's very interesting episode, which is all about how to let go positively of a one-sided friendship that is no good for you. Okay? So this tonight is all about friendship, letting go of a friend who's no longer really that kind of friend you want anymore in your sort of immediate circle, as it were. So what I mean by it is you don't have to let the friend go if they're not a bad person, but if the relationship has become very one-sided, then you need, hi Richard, hello Sandra, I should be getting that book in a couple of days. Oh, thank you Richard, lots of love. I hope you find it really helpful. I know you will, because their stories really change people's lives in there. I know, because I get so many people, but I would love to know what you personally think as well after you've bought it and read it. And if you like it, please leave a review on Amazon, because it really helps people out. So it's nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, so this video is very different because it's based on friendship, because I do a lot of dating and relationships advice, but this one's particularly based on friendship, which is quite relevant to a lot of asexuals, because as we know, a lot of asexuals, friendship is very much the foundation of our life. Oh, thanks Richard, appreciate you. Friendship is very much the foundation of our life. A lot of asexuals prefer friendships to being in a relationship. Hi, Nicoletta. Lovely to see you. Love you lots, as always. So friendship is, one of the most important things to asexuals. A lot of asexuals are aromantic asexuals. They lack romantic attraction as well as sexual attraction. There's a larger proportion of asexuals that are aromantics, that lack the romantic attraction. So overall, it means that, combined with all the other asexuals, friendship is like the most solid foundation of what we base kind of our relationships in general on. And it can be very difficult when you're having friendships and, one of them over a process of years, or if you leave it like me for years, may become one-sided. Now, this particular example I'm going to give you, obviously, I'm not going to give names out, but I have a friend that I've known since primary school, right? Primary school, secondary school. And I do love this friend. She was the only one who stood up for me being bullied when I was at school. And, I've always felt indebted to her, for sticking up for me when I was being bullied, because my so-called best friend at the time, who was female, never did. She actually used to talk to people who used to be nasty to me behind my back. So that was really difficult. My so-called best friend wasn't really my best friend. And this other person who I didn't class as a best friend, but a good friend at the time, but, we were in different tutor groups. She's the one who stuck up for me. She's the only person that truly stuck up for me. And I have always felt like I owed her something because of that, because I am forever grateful. If she hadn't been there and stuck up for me, who else would have been? No one. There was literally no one else. And so I have a very big special place in my heart for this particular friend, which is why, even now I'm getting a bit tearful, because it was a hard thing for me to do this particular thing. I'm going to tell you what I did, because I'm going to explain how to do it in a positive way to basically cut a one-sided friendship as it is, without actually letting the person go out of your life. So I'm going to come on to the message I sent her, which I spent a lot of time in my mind constructing, right? Because I didn't want this person to go out of my life. She's very important and special to me. I've known her for a very long time. I know she's been through some really hard times herself. And that's a big thing for me. I was actually there for her when something very tragic happened in her life and she lost her loved one very young. And I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of that because it's not fair, right? I don't believe in saying all this stuff. That's enough anyway. So I was thankful I could be there for that period of time, right? But how things progressed was the fact that every time I would go to see her, I felt like, unlike all my other friends I've now got, because I've got really good, healthy friendships with, I've got a heterosexual female best friend, as you know. She's really good. I've been with her as a friend for over 7 years. That relationship and friendships developed and got better. And I got two really great best asexual friends. I got Sam, my best friend, and my other best friend Andy. So they are amazing. So I've got these beautiful people, beautiful friendships in my life. So I now, and obviously Nicoletta is one of my best online friends as well. Me and Nicoletta have never met in person, but she's very, very supportive. So I have to say thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you. So you know, I've got these good friendships in my life now that I didn't have before. Now, when you've got really good, healthy friendships in your life, you can then see where there's kind of holes, and you're welcome, Nicola, it's true. You can kind of see where there's holes in your other friendships. If you've still got friends from your past, you know, you can kind of see where it's not right anymore, right? And I didn't want to admit that to myself. I've known it for a long time that I felt that when I go to her home, this is me personally, I'm not saying this is how it actually is for her, but when I personally went there, I felt like I was wanting to be there a bit more. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, I'll be careful what I say because I'm very loyal to my friend. I love her to bits. She's got a very kind heart. So you know, and I still care about her. I always will, you know. So, but you know, it was no good for me. So what was happening is the last, I think it was 4 times I said about seeing her. Each time she would call it off the day before or on the day saying she was sick. Right? Now, when a person does that about 4 times and it's different times of the year, it's pretty much telling you this person doesn't want to see you for whatever reason, right? And so, and when I've been over there, I've felt more like it was me that wanted to go over there and see her specifically. And with like Christmas and birthdays, I felt it's more like me wanting to do that. And it was kind of like she was reciprocating Christmas presents and stuff, but it was more from a place of reciprocation rather than initiative, if you know what I mean. But I love this friend dearly, and she's a very kind-hearted person. You know, she has a lot going on in her life, had a lot going on in her life. So a lot of the time, like I've said before in videos, even in relationships, it's not necessarily you that's a problem. It's usually the other person that's got some sort of issue or problem in their life going on, right? So it might just not be good timing for them. But anyway, you know, after 4 times of someone saying they're sick, you know, every single time, you pretty much get the message that they don't want to see you anymore, right? And I never feel, when I see my other friends, I never feel like I'm in the way. I never feel like they don't really want me there. I never feel like they can't spend much time with me because I'm not the type of personality they want to be with. You know, I always feel all my friends now, they love spending time with me. You know, like my best friend, Sam, they are literally coming for my birthday for 5 days to my city. They are staying for 5 days and 4 nights. And their scooter couldn't be repaired. It was going to cost too much, you know, and there's a couple of parts that can be got for it. And they are spending their money. You know, they're not, rather than getting a scooter quickly, they're spending their money, saving their money and spending it, not just on me, but on one of the priorities. You know, they've made me a priority that my birthday's more important than getting a scooter. So they've put the scooter off because they'd rather pay to see me for my birthday. Do you see what I mean? I've never had that type of friendship love before. Do you see how important that is? Do you see the difference between, it's very hard because obviously I want to honour my friend that I've been friends with from school, but it's very different feeling for me going over to see someone for a couple of hours. It's like, all I can see you is for 2 hours because that's enough. Do you know what I mean? Enough of you. It feels like I did years ago when people don't really appreciate me being in their company and don't really want me there. And that person's the last person that I feel that with, that I see. I don't feel that with anyone else ever. now, you know. Hopefully I never will. But so they're the only piece. Did someone say friendship? Yes, Eddie, someone did say friendship. So nice to see you. So this person has been very dear to me. I have to make this clear, right? There is still a loving, caring person, right? I have no problem with the person they are. It's just that I feel, well, you'll understand from my message when I'm going to read it out in a minute how it is, right? But they're the only person I feel when I'm going to see them. They're not really appreciating my. They're not appreciating me. They're not appreciating my company. They'd rather, it's too much for them. My personality is too much for them. Do you see what I mean? Which I you know, that's the impression I get. They haven't said that to me. That might be total wrong. That might be a total wrong thing. That's just how I feel. But obviously, feelings are very important in any relationship or friendship. If you start feeling it, you feel it often, and you know what I mean. I did quite a lot of the talking, which I do talk a lot anyway. But I like someone to like react back. I like someone to interact. Do you know what I mean? I like an interaction, not just me talking all the time. And so, you know, that's the only person that I felt that with, but I wanted to see them because I thought it's important to keep seeing them, you know, especially for what they did for me when I was younger. But then I realised, you know, at the end of the day, Sandra, you were there to support them when they lost their loved one. You've kind of like, you know, been there for them when they were there for you before. So that's kind of like equal now. You don't have to keep feeling like you keep having to give more and more because of what they did for you years ago, because I think you've done enough in and of your own right. And it's time for you to stick up for yourself and tell the person in a gentle, kind and positive way about the fact that, you know, that you deserve better, right? And so this is hard to come to this realization in one sense, but it's good and healthy for you, right? Because you don't want to be seeing people where you feel they don't really want to see you. You feel like you're going out of your way to see them and they're not bothered, or they'd rather limit their time they spend with you. If you're a wonderful person and if you love yourself and think you're a wonderful person, why would you want to be with hang around with someone who's limiting their time with you? When you've got friends that are like, when can I see you next? Like, you know, like my friend Andy, they haven't been too well lately. And I've got an asexual meetup this Saturday going on. And they're like, you know, I did some Facebook voice messages to them and some text, and they start to feel better and they're feeling better now. And they're like, they wouldn't want to miss seeing me, an opportunity to see me. Do you know what I mean? That is true friendship love. That's when people really, really are enthusiastic about seeing you. They want to see you. They want to go out of their way, because Andy doesn't live in my city, you know? And so, you know, I've got the energy from these people. Like, I really want to see, like, my best friend, female friend, she came out of her way to see me today. She's staying, she's the one who's moved away to live with her partner. Everything's going good there. But obviously she comes and sees her friends now, which is amazing. So her friend, we all live like away from her new place. So she you know, she's paid to stay in a hotel, and she's seen her other friends at the weekend. And then she came and spent like 2.5 hours with me today, which was absolutely lovely, you know. And it's going out of her way because she doesn't, you know, she was seeing all her other friends and specifically left there, got on a train to come and see me. And then she went to play bingo afterwards and then went back again, you know. But she made sure she saw me. You know, that's going out of her way because she wants to spend some time with me because I'm important to her. Do you see what I mean? That it's a different feeling. And so I don't want to be going around and hanging around people's house or going to people's house where I feel I'm not really wanted there, or not really needed there, or not really, person's not really wanting to see me. Do you know what I mean? A person's not really enthusiastic. They're not really into it. I feel like my personality doesn't actually match what they want, if you know what I mean. I feel like my personality is too much for them, not for other people, but just for them, because it doesn't suit them anymore. Because we have to remember that obviously it was school, primary school and secondary school that we knew each other at. And sometimes you just have to think, you have to move on. Things have changed. And, you know, Eddie, I hate all my old school friends, but two. Nicolette, don't stay where you are tolerated, go where you are celebrated. That's very wise advice, Nicoletta. Very wise advice. Don't stay where you tolerate, go where you celebrated. It's a very, very good. I think that should be on a quote. It's very, very good advice. Yeah. So basically, you know, that's what I've done. You know, I did it before Christmas. And I've still kept this person as my Facebook friend. You know, their life might change years later. Who knows? But and there's no need for me to cut off from this person because they're not a nasty person, right? They have a kind heart. But you know, in terms of seeing them, I'm not seeing them anymore, basically. So I wrote this message out to them before Christmas. This was in November, the 27th of November, so it's way before Christmas, right? And I put, this is a hard message for me to write. I'm not going to offer to come to see you this Christmas. I love and care about you as my friend, and I think you are a wonderful person, but I think you would rather be left in peace, and I respect you. I am a loud and bubbly girl, and that's just me. And I like being around people who love me for who I am and who love me being me. I think you prefer peace and quiet, which I respect. I also like an equal friendship where a friend makes an effort to see me and wants to see me and spend time with me and makes concrete arrangements to do so, and who also instigates those arrangements. I will always care about you as my friend, and you know where I am if you ever need me. Lots of love and hugs and 2 kisses. Do you see how that's positively letting someone go? You know, there's no negativity in there. There's no bad attitude towards my friend. There's no uncaringness. It's a very kind, loving message, but letting someone go and know that I'm worth more than that at the same time. Do you see the wording? It's very important you pay attention to the wording. And then they said, thank you for your message. I really appreciate your honesty. I'm really sorry. I know I'm not a very good friend. It's not you, it is totally me. You absolutely deserve an equal friendship, and I am not very good at that. I am the same with everyone. I would like to be able to say that I will change, but I have a lot of family commitments at the moment, so don't really feel up to anything else right now. I will always care about you as a friend too, and will also be here if you need me. Lots of love and hugs to you and 2 kisses. So, you know, see, that worked out very, very well because I was quite scared about writing that message, but I thought the way I've done it and the way I've worded it is really, really good because there's no bad feeling. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of doing it for her own good, not just for my own good. I'm doing it for both our own good, you know. And I did wish her Merry Christmas. I did her a little voice message on Facebook, and she said, "Thank you for your lovely message. Have a lovely Christmas." So, you know, and I sent her a New Year little message as well. So, you know, that was a very, very good way of just letting my friend go in the sense of seeing her in person, you know. And I've done the right thing, you know, even though it was a little bit hard at the time. I've done the right thing because it's not being respectful to myself. If I keep going somewhere, I feel I'm not actually wanted. Do you know what I mean? It's not being good, you know. And I don't know if it was a case of not wanted her, but just she's got a lot going on in her life, you know. So it was really, really good. And she admitted and accepted that I do need someone who will respect me and want to be my friend and give me that, you know, give me that respect and care and attention and love. So it worked out really, really well. And you have to remember that I've been friends with this person since primary school, you know, so it's a long time. She's the only person that I actually kept in touch and seen since primary school. So I got a few other friends on my Facebook, but I don't see them. So yeah, you know, I just want to share that with you because I did say before Christmas that I was gonna, you know, way before when that happened, that I was gonna share that with you because I think it's really important to see how to positively let someone go, because what you don't want to do is be crying or really upset or in pain afterwards and ruminating and reminiscing on it and feeling weird like you're cut off from them. Do you know what I mean? If it's someone who's got a kind heart, you know, this person isn't a bad person. It's different for someone who's bad and done bad things to you and you want to cut off them. This person isn't a bad person. They got a very kind heart. You know, I've known them for a very long time, but just that I'm obviously not the vibe, they're not my vibe, they're not my tribe anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like that. So, and I told my parents as well because you know, my dad usually takes me over at Christmas to drop this friend's present off. So I was honest with my parents and said about it, you know, because I thought it's good to be honest with them, you know, and I do deserve better. Do you know what I mean? And And, you know, I'm glad I was able to stick up for myself and let the person go, because I thought it's the only person that I've been feeling that way. All the friends that currently in my life, my good friends, best friends, you know, they don't make me feel that way. You know, when you can really feel like you're there and you're not really appreciated, you're not really needed, you're not really wanted, and you're not really, you know, they're not really, I'm not really their type of person. I don't think I'm their type of person, if I'm honest. Do you know what I mean? As it is now in this day and age. Because I did used to, at primary school, up to the age of 10, before 10, I used to be very, very shy girl, which obviously I'm not anymore. I used to be very, very shy girl. I made myself not be shy from the age of 10. I consciously decided I didn't want to be like that because it was no good for me. I didn't like it. It wasn't doing me any good, you know. And I certainly in at school and things like this, as time progressed in my head, I was like, when I was 15 years old, I had some work experience in a radio station. I've always wanted to work in real radio. I used to be a hospital radio presenter for years. And when I went to the radio station, I knew ultimately then, this was at 15 years old when I did the work experience, that I was going to be famous for something. It's going to be to do with the media. I still know that now. Yeah, YouTube. But yeah, so you know, I was going to go into real radio, and I did a lot of training for that. But you know, when writing in 2009, when I was made redundant for the first time in my life ever, I discovered my life purpose was writing 100%, 100%, and that love of writing overtook my love of radio previously. And then I knew that I was meant to write books. I didn't know I was meant to write books for asexuals back then, because I didn't know I was asexual back then, but I knew I was meant to write books, and I knew that was my life purpose. And, you know, this is when you can write a book, it's a gift. It's a very, very big gift. And you should always treasure your gifts and work on them and use them, you know? And I honestly believe that there's nothing like a book to change someone's life. You know, like I know that I know you can do public speaking. I would like to do more of that. I know you can do training courses, and I really want my training courses to change people's lives as well. But to me, the most hugest passion I have for everything I do in terms of like helping asexuals and doing products, you know, has been books, because I just know that these books will be here for generations to come when I'm long gone, particularly because I always have to send a copy, if it's a print book I've done, to the British Library, because I'm a registered publisher under my own imprint of Quirky Books, you know. That's my own registered imprint. So I, by law in the UK, have to send a copy of the book to British Library. So they keep it on record for years and years, you know. And I think there's nothing more powerful than the written word. I've always felt that. I mean, maybe when I do more and more training courses, I'll start to think that, wow, this is amazing, which I will. I do think that about my training course. You know, I'm doing the Asexual Me Mastery course at the moment. So already 45 videos long. It's a long course, and I've got another 9 that are nearly done. So it's a lot, but nothing gives me more pleasure than writing. When I write, I feel at one with my soul. I've been doing some work on a story today, the Asexual Guide to Sex book. You know, I'm trying to work on with the interviewees and getting their stories finished. And this story I'm working on today is, you know, I've had to do because the person isn't a native English speaker, and they said that they want me to like help them get the English right. So I've been doing quite a lot of work on that this afternoon and evening, you know. But it's just such a pleasure writing it. You know, it's hard in some ways because the editing process is a bit tedious. Changing one comma around or 2 commas around, I can spend half an hour over 1 comma. It's quite infuriating. But you know, it's kind of like I just love writing. I love writing books. And so, oh, hi Sam, nice to see you. I've mentioned you earlier, my best friend. So yeah, so I think you've got to live your passions and live your dreams. And if people who are your friends, like I've got Sam who supports me, Nicoletta who supports me in this chat, obviously Eddie and Richard are newer to the channel, but they're just as valid and welcome, and they're just as supportive in the chat, which is really nice. So I appreciate you all being here, you know. But when you've got people who support you, you then can see someone who doesn't support you, not that interested in you, which was this particular friend. So there comes a time in your life when you have to kind of leave behind your past, and maybe you think you've left behind your past, but you haven't quite left behind every bit of your past, do you know what I mean, and moved on. And so, you know, me actually saying to the person, like I've already read out, you know, and letting them go in that way was very, very good for me. It was empowering for me. It's what I needed to do for me. I don't want to keep going over to someone's house where I'm not really wanted there. I don't think I'm not really needed. I'm not really appreciated because I don't really think I'm their person. Do you know what I mean by their person? Like, I think you get your own tribe. You have a vibe that people resonate with or they don't. I know that I'm an acquired taste. I know some people really love me and some people will be like, don't like her at all, and off they go, which is fine, but I kept like wanting to hold on to her, I think, more because of what she did for me years ago with the bullying, and so I think you have to, but I helped her out equally in another situation, so you just have to move on from friends, and that's what I want you to do, because it's 2020, it's a new year now. So if you've got any of these type of friends that are really, they're kind-hearted but they're not really good for you because you feel like when you go around them they're not really appreciating you, they're not really wanting you to be there. Oh, you was discussing yesterday about this. What, was you on my chat, Sam? I don't think you were on my chat last night, were you? Who are you discussing it with? I don't think you were discussing it on my chat, were you? I do so many chats that go into so many days, I never know what day it is half the time. Do you know what I mean? My chats end up going into the next day. It's like you've streamed over 2 days, Sandra, and you're still streaming over another 2 days the next time. But yeah, I'm glad you were discussing it though, because obviously it's pertinent to you. With my sister-in-law. Oh, that's really, really good. That's really, really good that you were discussing it with your sister-in-law. So this is a very topical issue. I noticed that lately. I can end up doing videos and some people come on and go, this is exactly what I was looking for, which is good. But yeah, I mean, go back through the video, Sam, because I know you were late to the stream, and see what I put in the message. But it's a very, very good message because it let them go with a positive flavour, if you know what I mean. Obviously, if it's a friend that's not really being a friend, they're being nasty, they haven't got a kind heart, they're not good for you. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's a bit different the way you'd let them go. But, with this person, I'm still going to be Facebook friends with them. I'm still going to be connected to them that way. So if they ever do decide like 5-10 years down the line that I really want this person in my life now, that I've changed, that they've changed, they've had their own journey in life and they've decided, well, I want to go out more now. I want a person, that type of thing. I'm not saying I'm just going to go and go after them or they click their fingers and we go back to them or anything like that. But, it's probably going to be the same thing, that I'm not going to be their type of person. Do you know what I mean? Going forward, that's probably how it's going to be. And that's okay. I can accept that now because I was ready to move on. Even though, like I care about them, I don't want to be feeling like that. I don't want to be feeling like they're not really that interested in seeing me, and that it's a struggle for them to see me for an X amount of length of time. I mean, that's kind of like how I felt at school. This is like years ago. So why am I having these people in my life that made me feel like I did years ago when I wasn't wanted, wasn't needed, and I didn't self-love back then? And then I'm thinking, well, maybe you're not self-loving enough now because you're not letting this person go. And that's why I realised that, you need to self-love more and let go of this person that's no longer any good for you. Because what's the point? They've made it clear when they're saying like 4 times they're cancelling on me that they don't want to see me now. So it's pretty obvious. So, I've done a really good thing, but I would encourage you, as it's the beginning of the new year in 2020, if you've got any of these type of friends, that you do the same thing, that you let them go in a very positive, kind, caring way. Obviously, if they start being nasty to you back, then, you might find out that they're very different to who you thought they were, but you can tell by the mutual respect of me and my friend that that's a good friend because she's given me the respect back saying, yeah, you do deserve better friends. I'm not a very good friend. If she was a bad person, she wouldn't be saying stuff like that. She's not a bad person, which is why I'm not cutting all contact. I'm still going to be Facebook friends with her just in case she does need me. I would still be there for her if she wants me to be. So I think that's really, really important to recognize this. There's some friends, aren't really your friends anymore. They're not got any nice bone in their body. They're just, you're just lingering around them for whatever reason. And there's other friends that are genuine, kind-hearted people, but they just, they're not at the same, they're not in the same stage of life as you anymore. They're not relative with you anymore. They're not relating to you anymore because you're different people now. And you have to, maybe I've always been a different type of person to that person, but just now I'm more confident and loving of myself, and I care about myself more, and I can, healthily let go of that person now. knowing that I did nothing wrong. And it's nice when the person actually says, no, you've done nothing wrong, it's me. It's nice to have that confirmation, because most people would admit that. That's how you know this is a nice person that says, a loving person, kind, caring person would let a person go. They say, no, you do deserve better. It's like if you're in a relationship and the person in the relationship you're in a relationship with is becoming very kind of like maybe hostile to you, maybe defensive, maybe just like you can't get through to their heart anymore. They're not really listening to you anymore. You're feeling like they don't really want you to be there. You'd have to have the honest conversation and sit down with them and say how you feel and that you deserve better, and someone who really loves you will let you go. It might be a bit sad in one sense of they letting you go, but it's actually a good thing, because then you have more space in your life for good people to be in your life, for good people to come into your life. And so that's a much, much better thing. I've already said about Sam, which Sam missed out, saying Sam's going out their way to come for my birthday and spend like 5 days, booked into a hotel for 4 nights and 5 days before getting a new scooter. I said, Sam, and I'm so, when I've got a best friend like that and so much friendship love from you, and I mentioned Auntie as well, it's just amazing. Nicoletta, my pet Fluffy is with us. Hello, Fluffy. Meow, meow. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, Fluffy's nice name. I'm trying to think, did I know a cat called Fluffy? Did I know a cat called Fluffy? I'm trying to remember now. I might have known a cat called Fluffy. I know yes, decluttering to get new good friends. Yeah, it's really important. And so obviously as we hit, we've come into 2020 January now. I think it's when I'm recording this live at the moment, it's a good time. Obviously, if you're seeing this video later on in the year, then I still encourage you to do the same thing. Don't waste time, I mean, really, you could argue that maybe I should have done it sooner than later, but I think I've done it at the right time because I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? You have to be ready to do it. It's no point in doing it and not meaning it and then going back to that person. Do you see what I mean? It's like any relationship. If you are cutting off completely from them or doing something like this and not seeing, you have to follow through. You can't go back on it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you can, like, I say you can't go back on it, but obviously if the person changes, in 5 years' time or whatever, they change, they become a more bubbly, outgoing person again. They want someone like me in their life, and they really say, look, hey, sorry, I haven't been around for 5 years. Do you want to meet up? They start instigating meeting up with me and they want to see me. Then that might be different. Do you know what I mean? But as it stands, you have to just let them go and know that person and you probably don't resonate as much anymore. Or maybe you never really did in that way. Maybe it's just more circumstances that were throwing you together. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it can be in a relationship. Sometimes it can be more like circumstances have thrown you together, and so some people you have to let go as a life partner as well. Do you know what I mean? Which can be more harder because there's a lot more emotions involved as well. There's usually a romantic side if you're a romantic asexual, for example. So that can be a lot harder. But yeah, it's really positive to do it in a good way to let them know that, how you feel and that, that you love and care about yourself and you love and care about the person, but you feel you deserve better. And, and this is what you want, they, like if you are doing it, there might be a friend you do that to and they don't even realize what they're like, and it might buck their ideas up. They might think, oh God, I never realized that this person feels this way. And they might then reflect on themselves and might actually change their behavior, but you shouldn't go in with that. I never went with the idea this person would change. I knew that they didn't want to really see me. I was adamant about that before I sent the message. I could tell by the way I feel around them, by the fact they cancelled on me 4 times. It's pretty damn obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like once or twice maybe, because they kept saying they were sick once or twice, but when it's a different time of year and they're doing it again, it's kind of like, I felt like they were more being obliged to see me rather than wanted to see me. So I think it's really important to, just recognize that and to just let the person go and move on, because once you've got that kind of like little bit of negative energy out and like your duty to them out, you know what I mean, you can move on to bigger and better things and you can have more space in your life to to fill up with better and more positive and good things that will help you and be very awesome for you in your life. So that's really the message I wanted to send, especially because I know so many asexuals have a lot of friends, but you do have to cut some friends that aren't good for you, that are not healthy for you, or that just are not really doing much. They're not really being an equal friend because they're just not doing anything about the friendship. They're not going out of their way to see you. They're not making arrangements. They're not wanting to see you. They're not wanting to see you for a length of time. I mean, do you know what I mean? When someone's like really pushed to see you for 2 hours, like, oh, I can only stand like 2 hours of you type attitude, it's not very good, is it? And I've known that's how I felt that's how they felt for a long time. But I think this year for me in 2020 particularly, I need to trust my intuition more as well. I need to listen to myself. I got this habit of habit of not listening to myself as much as I should do. I mean, I do self-talk a lot, but I think sometimes I don't quite want to believe myself sometimes. I know that sounds a really, really weird thing to admit, but I think like a lot of us can have childhood issues or childhood things where we've had people that don't trust us, or we've been made to feel that we can't trust our own judgment and can't trust our own feelings, and that decisions we make are the wrong ones, and we could be looked down on, and we can be made to feel bad about ourselves. And when you're in that position, every time you then try and think for yourself and make decisions for yourself, you can start getting those bad feelings again, or start thinking, well, the repeated pattern that was instilled in you in a long time ago, that, oh, you can't trust your own judgment, you can't trust yourself, or you can't trust your own judgment, your opinion might be wrong, and there's always sort of this wavering seesaw business going on. So that's how it's been for me, and I'm being very honest and open about this because I think it could help someone else. I know there's a lot of asexuals that have got childhood trauma, like I've had childhood trauma. I'm not better. I've worked on a lot of it, because you have to keep working on childhood trauma. It's not something that just disappears. But I think it's really important, that that that's what it can do. If you've had problems in the past, in your childhood, where your decisions have been made to feel insufficient, inadequate, that you can't make a decision, or you haven't been allowed to make any decisions for yourself, and for someone to support you in your decisions and say, yeah, go for it. If that's what you believe and you want to do it, go for it. I fully support you. If you haven't had that type of stability and strength behind you when you're a child, you haven't, I'm an only child as well, you haven't really got anything else there. Do you know what I mean? Anything else to cling to. And, you haven't got any like positive emotions surrounding that. So, you have to, as an adult, start implementing those positive emotions in yourself and recognizing yourself for the valuable member of society, and for the valuable member of the world, and for valuable, lovely you that you are. And it's not going to be an easy ride. When I was younger, I was made to feel that my decisions weren't really, I could be wrong at any single time. So why trust anything I said or thought, really? Because you could be wrong. There's always doubt every single time I try and make a decision. It's always like, oh, but what happens if you're wrong? Very negativity. But what happens if I'm right? What happens if I'm actually right? And a lot of the time in my adult life, it can be really right now, but I will literally, my mind will say, oh, I'll know I'm right, but I'll think I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a push and pull situation with yourself, And the only way you can really get better is by practicing making decisions for yourself and having your own opinions and sticking to them. That can be hard, if you've had this past childhood issues going on, And obviously this seeps into your friendships and relationships, because unless you improve yourself, you'll accept bad behavior from other people, which I know that I've improved because I've got much better friends. My parents made me feel unwanted. It's disgusting, Nicoletta. I know. I'm really sorry for you. You're a lovely person. I know you're one of the few genuine people, especially in the business world, because obviously we know each other more business world, don't we? So I know you're one of the very few genuine people out there. I'm really sorry that you had that experience. It isn't good. It isn't good, because when you feel unwanted by your parents, it's really tough, because as a kid, you haven't got anyone else to turn to. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to be your support system, and if it's not there, it's kind of like you fend for yourself. And then you can develop, like, I know certainly in my experience of childhood, I ended up being with guys that were bad for me, because I felt like I wasn't fully loved, do you know what I mean, for who I was, and I sought the love of a guy, which I didn't have within myself, or um I didn't have for myself, and it was lacking in other areas of my life. So yeah, when you lack love and self-love and self-worth and self-value, because that hasn't been instilled in you by your parents, it can be very difficult, because you feel like you're swimming around in an ocean of sharks or something. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to swim for air. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. I mean, I'm an only child, so I think if you're an only child, it can be made even worse, because you've got no one else to turn to. So if you're not getting the support of your parents, then it can be very, very difficult, emotionally upsetting and damaging for a long periods of time into adulthood. And I don't think you ever fully totally recover from all that. I'd like to say in a positive way that you do, but I think there's always going to be some things there. Do you know what I mean? Because memories don't tend to go away fully. Do you know what I mean? But I know you do really well now for yourself. You know what I mean? I think a lot of you, and I know you're really, really good at what you do, and you help a lot of people. And it's good. I do think that the people who've gone through their most time of trauma in their life in the past, once you get into like personal and professional development, then you can use your past traumatic experiences to help other people for the greater good. So that's the way I look at my childhood more now, is I reframe it to think that, everything happened, all the abuse and horrible stuff I went through had to happen in order for me to be able to help asexuals on other people who are not asexual as well on this channel, because if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't be able to help people. And I'm still going through experiences now. This is like a reality TV show of my whole life, trying to help other people. But if I wasn't able, I mean, obviously my life's quite up and down a lot from the point of view. I do so much streaming on this channel. There's always everything's a different day. Something different's going on in my life usually. It's kind of like, but I kind of got used to that. I kind of like that about me, in the sense of my life's never boring. But I think if it was plateauing like this, I'd feel a bit weird. But I got to get used to it being a bit calmer in the future, a little bit. But then I can push myself out my comfort zone, loads more business type of things, and get my thrills from that, if you know what I mean. But yeah, thank you for sharing, Nicola. I really, really appreciate you being here. Obviously, really, really appreciate you being here. I think, you have to just work on one thing at a time. Like with childhood trauma, it's quite difficult, and I think you can only just like work on one thing at a time and try not to stress yourself out too much, like I have a habit of being overly self-critical. I really do, it's like, for example, going off topic a bit, I've like the Bangladeshi guy at the nightclub, which is he's really no good for me. He's a liar, right? He's apologized, but he's still a liar at the end of the day. But there's a part of me that has some sort of attraction to him. And like, I've been very frustrated today, thinking, why do you like a bad boy? I thought you were out of this phase now. This is what you did, like, for years of your life. You got attracted to the wrong type of guys. Why are you still attracted to this type of guy? But there's, it's not just a personal thing with me. It's chemical reaction. It's what a lot of people go through. I guess it's probably a bit more weird for some people because I'm asexual and I don't experience sexual attraction, but I do experience a lot of other types of attractions, like at least 7 different types of attractions going on. So I have like huge chemical reactions going on, I presume. And a lot of people do end up being attracted to these wrong type of people. But I'm also attracted to nice guys, though. So a lot of people are attracted to the bad boys, as it were. That seems to be all they're attracted to. But I am attracted to nice guys. It's just I don't know a nice guy that's suitable for me for a relationship. But I'm still attracted to nice guys. If there's a nice guy that comes into that comes into my life that wants a relationship with me, that's good for me, then I would go and be with him. It doesn't have to be a bad guy, which is, I've made the distinction of that's what I'm like now compared to what I used to be like. So before, I didn't used to have any good guys really that much in my social network and friendship network. I didn't really have any really good solid guys that I could trust, that were reliable, that would tell me their secrets, that would that would share things with me, that I didn't have that, you know what I mean? But now I've experienced that with asexual friends. And obviously I've got my non-binary friend as well, now a best friend. Now I've experienced that, you know, I know that I'm different. I know I've changed, and that gives me some comfort, you know, because I am giving myself a hard time at the moment. How can you fancy this Bangladeshi? What do you fancy about him? Why do you fancy him? And this has like been on my head nearly all day, which is not good because it burns your energy out. When you've got something like this on your mind, it burns your energy. But you know, like sometimes like my mind's shooting off everywhere over this subject. It's like I've been watching a lot of dating videos today, actually. So I haven't just been working on my Asexual Guide to Sex book, and it's like my mind's just completely exploding. It's like, why are you like this? I thought you were over this now. Why are you like this? And I'm kind of beating myself up and criticizing myself, which is not very helpful, really, because sometimes you just gotta live with yourself as you are in the moment. And you've got to accept things about yourself, even if they're not great, you know, like it's not good, is it? I'm highly aesthetically attracted to him. On the one hand, I feel danger with him. It's like, stay away from him, Sandra. Don't go near him. Stay away from him. Stay away from the other side of me. It's like, I really want to snog his face off. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, because I think what it is like, I think as an asexual person, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, is that as an asexual person, it's hard to get someone for a relationship, right? And especially if you're a romantic asexual type of person, right? You can still like kissing, cuddling, the warmth of someone's body, cuddling you, you know, being close to you. I'm not talking about naked because I don't like nakedness. But you know what I mean? When you've got a type of person that you feel that's very aesthetically attractive, that you could be like that with, it kind of like pulls you more towards them because you know, like, usually you're attracted to people sometimes on what's lacking in your life. Like, I've got a lot of stuff that's good in my life, right? I love a lot of stuff, and I self-love and I self-date, so I've still got my self-love. But there is this side to me, I'm being personal now, this side to me, this asexual passionate side, you know. I love the passionate kissing, I love the cuddling, I love the dating, I love the romance, and I've been really good. I haven't really, although I've been missing that a bit, I haven't been really focused on that. And like, for, you know, it's only in the last like few months that I've been changing, going on to sexual dating groups and thinking about, you know, going out clubbing again. And I think what it is I miss that romance. I miss that that passionate kissing that I can't, at the moment, I can't get that from an asexual guy. There is no one like me that's interested in me or near me, or it's even like me in terms of kissing, that I know in my direct circle. And certainly most of my friends are into guys. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got that. So it's kind of like, if that thing is lacking, you know, and because I mean, I can self-love, I can kiss myself to a certain extent, and I can do all that, and you know, that's fine. But I kind of like want this bit of romance, excitement, kissing thing. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want, and that's why I'm attracted to him. Right, that's one of the main reasons I'm attracted to him, because that's what I haven't got at the moment. You know, it'd be like my mind goes, oh, it'd be so nice to go on a date for Valentine's Day. Like, you know, like on February 14th, I always celebrate being single day. I've done that since 2015 when I founded the day International Celebrate Being Single Day, not to be confused with Singles Day. Singles Day was created by someone else. It's kind of a pessimistic attitude towards Valentine's Day. Like, why does everyone go in couples and do all this couple thing? You know, we're single. But International Celebrate Being Single Day is all about, you know, self-dating that day, loving yourself, and literally celebrating being single and every beautiful thing that comes with that, you know. And this year, since meeting this Bangladeshi guy who's no good for me, you know, my mind's changed. My mind's flipped. Like, thinking, oh, I'll just meet him and have all this lovely passionate kissing without the sex, and just go on this date and have this hugely romantic day. And this is like out of a movie thing, isn't it, really? And I believe I can actually have that with this guy. That's the problem, because he probably would go along with that, but he's not going to be suitable for a long-term committed relationship when he's a liar, and he shouldn't be allowed to kiss me, because he's not a good guy. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I really battle with that at the moment. It's like, well, you could do it, Sandra, but if you start kissing him, you're going to probably find him more and more attractive. You're going more emotionally involved with him, and he's no good for you. He's a liar. Why do you want to put yourself through being with a liar? He's no good for you. Don't disrespect yourself. And so this is how it battles. And that's because I'm consciously aware of myself. Now, some people aren't consciously aware of themselves, so they don't know why they do things. They don't know why they feel things. But I am very consciously aware of myself, which is a blessing in some ways, but it can be also like, your mind can feel like it's exploding all the time, because you can have the situation that you're thinking and what you're feeling feel it, and you know why you're doing it, really, and it can still drive you crazy, because to me it's not logical. It's like, why would you want to ever see a guy again who's lied to you? Why? And I can't work it out. There's no logic to that in me. And it's like, there's no logic, Sandra. It's chemical reaction. It's got to be a chemical reaction. Do you know what I mean? That's all it's got to be. And the fact that, you've, for all of a sudden this year, you're really wanting the romance. It's because, like, I can't, like, I've been so long, I haven't had a serious committed relationship for a long time, as you know. And I have dated some guys, but it's like, I really miss the kissing. I've got such a thing for kissing. But then if I was in a relationship with a guy, I wouldn't be kissing him every single minute of the day. In actual fact, I think to myself, like, kissing's great and everything, but that's not what I just want to do with the guy, obviously. I want intelligent, deep, meaningful conversations. I want, to talk about the world, planet, and universe with him. I want us to just sit holding hands together and looking in each other's eyes, and I'll probably snog him. But you know what I mean? I want all this, like, going on, like, holding hands. I want the closeness. I want the deep, bestest ever friendship. And obviously, my guy, I believe's Indian. This guy isn't even Indian, so he's not even my guy. Do you know what I mean? So today I've just been trying to think, Indian guy. What does your future Indian guy look like? Or what's he look like now? Where is he in the world? Come on, show up. Do you know what I mean? But he's not going to show up yet until I'm ready. And clearly I'm not ready, because I've got these issues going on with a guy who's no good for me. So obviously I've got some things to sort out, but life is an ongoing roller coaster, really, and you've got to, like, recognize things in yourself and try and sort them out. But it's hard when you're consciously aware of yourself. I think it's one of the best things in the world, but I think it's also a very difficult thing, because if you're oblivious to what's going on, it's kind of like you can't really go into that such an in-depth analysis and then and especially come up with conclusions, because I know pretty much, I'm like, yeah, you obviously, romance is lacking in your life at the moment. It's not lacking with yourself, but I mean, I went out and self-dated at the weekend because I thought maybe it's lacking more in myself than I think. Maybe I need to take myself out more. Maybe I'm not going on many self-dates. That's why I'm going to this guy more, because I'm not getting the passionate romantic feelings of myself so much as I used to do. So take yourself out and self-date. But it's kind of like, no, I really want to snog a foreign guy that looks like him. Like, Sandra, stop it. And then this is how I go all the time, and I've been like this nearly all day. So I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart, because it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? It's the truth. And it's really hard not to beat yourself up about these things, but you have to remember that self-love is accepting your weaknesses and your strengths and just trying to develop yourself, grow yourself, and improve yourself. And it's a long process, and you might not do the right thing. You might make mistakes. And, I've blocked, he can't get hold of me on my phone, but occasionally I've unblocked him and then blocked him back again. It's like, Sandra, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're being crazy girl. But sometimes we do get crazy over chemical reactions, we're human beings. And so, it's very difficult, nearly all day. And I'm thinking, you're wasting your energy on this guy, and see how it goes. It means that I'm thinking about him. I'm beating myself up to think about him. I'm getting really self-critical. I'm analysing, and this is how a cycle goes. Clearly, I need to break this cycle. So yeah, but I'm being honest with you, and there'll come to a stage where I will naturally make my own mind up fully about this guy, won't there? There'll be something that will finally do it, and then I don't even need to worry about all this stuff that I'm thinking now, because it'll just naturally sort itself out one way or the other. Things always really do. And there's nothing really that's thrown your way in life that you can't get through. Do you know what I mean? Like, we panic and we think we can't get through this. Nothing, we can't see the way out. Everything's unclear. It's all muddy. But in reality, we can usually get through anything life throws at us. And, I kind of keep thinking with this guy, what is the lesson? Maybe there's more to the lesson than I think there is. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the lesson here? What's the lesson? The lesson is you're still attracted to some bad boys. But then I am attracted to good guys as well. So I know that I'm not like I used to be, just attracted to bad boys, as it were. Do you know what I mean? So that is good, And I was watching a dating coach video today. Really, really good. Really good advice. I want to share it with you, that the more high value you become, so the more you work on yourself, the more you develop yourself, the more you grow yourself as a person, the more people will be attracted to you. And that includes, obviously, more bad people as well as good people. And this coach was also saying, but you'll be compatible with less people. And I just want to share that with you, because it's so important. That's the same with friendship, even if you don't want a relationship. The more you develop and grow yourself as a person, you'll find you have less friends, maybe. I mean, I've always had like smaller number of friends anyway, because I always prefer that true friends, you know what I mean? But you'll probably attract more people the more popular you get, the more you develop and grow yourself, because more people will be attracted to you and want to be your friend. But there'll probably be less people that are going to be genuinely connected to you as a friend, that are on your sort of level. Do you see what I mean? Because the law of attraction works when you're a more attractive person. The law of attraction, it's when you become a more attractive person to be around, to speak to spend time with. You are being more attractive, so you're attracting more people. I found this out from myself, from studying law of attraction. The law of attraction is inspiration in action as well. The more you inspire other people, the more they'll want to be around you, speak to you and see you. So you know what I mean, when you put yourself out there, like I'm going out clubbing, I'm going to attract more guys, but I've got to be careful, because I don't want everyone to think I'm just with this guy, Bangladeshi guy, who's not good for me, because then I won't attract the other guy that's going to be right for me. Do you know what I mean? But I am like criticizing myself heavily over this, because obviously it's not great. But I always see the good in people as well. I always feel their heart, even if they're a bad person. It doesn't sound very, do you know what I mean? I kind of feel the softness. I kind of feel there's a soft heart in there. But I think maybe that might be a mistake. Maybe it's just an illusion or something. Do you know what I mean? But hey ho, it is what it is. So I just wanted to put that out there, that if you are on your self-growth journey, which I believe if you're watching this channel, you probably are at the start, at least, of your self-growth journey. You probably come on this channel and thought, this channel's very different to the other asexual channels. She doesn't just talk about asexuality per se, she puts it into real life situations, and she tries to give advice to develop and grow myself. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if you've recognized that about this channel yet, but that's what I try and do, because I've done a lot of personal development work myself, and I try to share my experiences to help you. And I show you that I'm not perfect. There's things I still need to work on, right? There's things that aren't good that I do, or that I think, or that I feel. But we are human beings at the end of the day, and we have to love ourselves in spite of these flaws and problems that we may have. Do you know what I mean? And we need to continue working on ourselves. And I do think it is totally true that the more you develop and grow yourself, the more confident you get within yourself, the more self-esteem you have, the more you will attract both the more good people but more bad people. It's going to happen. The law of averages states that. It's just going to happen. So I know from the fact that I still attract good people. And I haven't attracted a good person to actually be in a relationship with yet, but I know the fact that I've attracted more people in general, that I know, and more good people, not just bad, that it's going in the right direction. Nicoletta, yes, I am compatible with less people. I think that's good. I mean, it's good to separate yourself, isn't it, from everyone else? I actually find, though, in my life, I'm more compatible with more people. Maybe it's just because I didn't have many friends, and I got more friends now than I used to, so I seem to be more compatible friendship-wise with more people. Probably less so in relationship-wise, though. I think that's probably the case with me. But I'm still compatible with a very small amount of friend people. But yeah, so I think with me, I've probably gone up in the world in terms of friendships. I think the friendships I had before were no good for me, and the ones I got now are much better. But I think in terms of relationship, you do become a very, very incompatible person, because when you're self-developing or growing yourself, if you have a relationship with someone, or even think about having a relationship with someone who isn't developing and growing themselves, you can clearly see that. It's like there is no depth to them. I don't mean that horribly, but it's I was like that for years and years. I just used to come home from work when I was with ex relationships and just watch TV all the time. That's what I used to do years ago, before 2012, when I started doing personal and professional development. That's what I used to do. The normal life, come home from work, watch TV endlessly for 4 hours or whatever a night, go to bed. That's what I used to do. So I have been that type of person that was unconscious, living my life more robotic. I've never been a robot, because I've always been different, but I was doing more of the same thing that everyone else does. I wasn't really growing myself as a person. I wasn't really I was always thinking more than other people. I've always been a strong thinker, an analytical thinker, and wanting more. So I've not been the same as everyone else, but there's clearly a big difference between how I was then and how I was now. And clearly I wasn't thinking on the level I do now. So when you grow and develop yourself, which you should be doing, And if you want to get into a relationship with someone, when you like really into personal and professional development and making yourself a better person and improving yourself and upgrading your version, you will find that there's less people suitable to be in a relationship with, particularly because they just won't be on your level. But you can also find this with friendships. You can find like a lot of you, if you're a person that's had a lot of friends, you can find a lot of your friends they just, their brains don't work the same as yours anymore, and they can't see what you can see, and they don't want those depths of talks that you want. Do you know what I mean? Crave. So I'm lucky that my best friends, they all want to change and develop and grow themselves in life and progress. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to stay static, my really, really close friends. And so I'm really glad, they always make leaps and strides and stuff, and they're really, really, good at doing that. So I'm very grateful for that. But in terms of a relationship, I mean, for example, just take the Bangladeshi guy. I mean, what is there to him not being funny to him? A bunch of lies. Really good looking guy, but clearly he's insecure. He's using his clothes to actually and his money to actually, make himself feel better and worthy and of love and all the rest of it. I feel quite sorry for him these days, and it's like, but it's hard. I can't change him. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's not living his true authentic life. I can see. It's like when I was clubbing with him last time, I told you I didn't kiss him, but I did dance with him a little bit for about 10-15 minutes when it was, the club was coming to an end. And he was talking about his chains, gold chains on his neck. Like, do you like them? I'm like, yeah, sure, they're nice. I think he was asking me if I wanted a necklace. I'm like, no, I wear little dainty necklaces usually, apart from this my friend bought me. But you know what I mean? When a guy started talking to you about, like buying you jewelry, which he doesn't follow through with anyway, then he starts asking me questions like, how much is your taxi? And I'm thinking, I don't know why you're bothering to ask me, because you asked me this last time. You don't offer to pay, and I'm not saying he's got to pay. I'm quite happy to pay for my own taxi. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm going there not for him. I'm going there for myself. So do you know what I mean? He's living he's very much on an autopilot, appearances, wearing the latest clothing, which I do really like on him, wearing the latest gold chains, making himself feel better like that, and living a very superficial life with the lies he's telling, so he's not going to be that depth of character and person where you can have a good in-depth talk with, who will actually give you more than a few sentences answers in text. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to be that type of person for me. And there's going to be quite probably a lot of guys that come along that aren't that sort of level, and a woman, if you're interested in a guy, you're into personal and professional development, you're going to get quite bored with the guy in terms of long term. So if you think short term, yeah, the guy's really good, for example, Bangladeshi, really good looking, okay to kiss, have mad passionate kissing or whatever, but at the end of the day, you couldn't be in a long-term relationship with someone who's a liar. He probably doesn't even want a relationship anyway. I think he just wants to kiss. And do you know what I mean? But hypothetically, you couldn't, because it's like, I'd be bored. It's like, where's the stimulating conversation? It'd be like being with a child again, because that person has had no development. They don't even think they've got a problem. And that's another thing, a lot of people don't think that they've got a problem. That's why I said with this friend that I was originally talking about in this video, that I let go, like seeing, she's a really good person because she sees that she has faults, that she's not being a good friend to me and to others. Do you know what I mean? So someone like that is consciously aware of themselves, and that is a good person at the heart. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of people, they don't think they need to change. And it's very interesting because I was having this conversation with a dating coach, a different one. I do watch a lot of dating and relationship videos and try and improve myself and analyze myself, And, I said to him, I've noticed a lot of male coaches, and coaches in general, they coach women, right? They've gone from the guys that I know that have coached, they used to coach men, now they coach women. I said, is that because women are more prepared to change themselves, more prepared to think there's things wrong with them and they need to change and they'll work on themselves? And he came back and told me, yes, they are way more likely to want to help themselves and to change. They're way more likely to change. And that was amazing that he confirmed that, right? So, women are more open to change. They're more thinking they've got to change their work and develop. He said they're way more, likely to develop, wanting to grow and develop themselves than men. That's very interesting, isn't it? Because it means a lot of men in the world are living from their ego. They're living from a place of not, I need to develop and grow myself as a person. I'm not, I need to upgrade the version of me. They're coming from a place of, I'm good enough as I am. Take me or leave me. you know, I've got nothing to do, work on myself, you know, which is a bad thing to be thinking, right? So, you know, we kind of have to encourage the guys in this world to, like, you know, stop thinking about all this macho stuff that you've learned in your life about you being the perfect macho guy, and that you're good enough as yourself as you are, and that what you say goes, and you're the man of the house or whatever. We need to kind of like go away from that stereotype, and we need to kind of like encourage the guys of this world more to, like, you know, realize that they are just as openly needing to change as females, you know, and that, you know, they're just as in need to develop and grow themselves. That's why a lot of guys are single, right? Just as much as women are single, a lot of guys are single because they don't want to develop and grow themselves. They don't know they have a problem. They don't think if they've got a problem. They don't even see their own egos. They don't even see they need to change. They're just like, oh, right, you know, like, for example, in the sexual dating groups I'm in, right? Literally, their pictures are pretty much just, you know, them with their top off, right? A lot of the time, like, come and get me, girls. I'm such and such an age and such a city. And it's like, where's your brains? Like, you know, how can you have a serious committed relationship over the long term with a person who's not intelligent if you are into personal and professional development? You just can't. If I was the type of person years ago who would come home and watch TV for 4 or 5 hours and not really do much with my life, yeah, sure, I can have a lot of those type of guys, can't I? Because I don't know any different. Not that I mean, I didn't even know I was asexual back then. But, I mean, it would have put me off seeing a guy with the naked top even back then. But, you know, theoretically speaking, I could, be those type of guys more. But now, once you take yourself to another level, you become a better version of yourself. You're trying to upgrade yourself, develop and grow yourself. You leave behind those people that are not suitable for you to be in a relationship with, and that even applies to obviously friendships. You know, if you've got people who you know, like, are very much complaining all the time about their life. I'm not talking about people who are friends who have some depression and up and down like now and again. Like, even I'm not happy all the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy. Overall, I love my life, even though I'm having a rough time sometimes, right? But, you know, no one's perfect, right? I'm not about them. But if you've got someone who's not developing and growing themselves and can't see they've got any problem in needing to work on their own life and work on themselves, you know, you're kind of going to need to leave those people behind, because it's like you can't change them. Unless someone wants to be changed, you can't change. You have to leave them be and realize, I'm just moving on. Maybe they'll catch up. They're on their own life journey. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's really important to understand that, you know, once you develop and grow yourself, don't be surprised if you do start leaving friendships behind, and maybe a relationship. If you're watching this and you're already in a relationship, do you know what I mean? Don't be surprised, you know. I mean, obviously, if you're in a relationship, you can talk to the person, you know, and you can try and work out how you can develop and grow together. Do you know what I mean? Maybe attend some courses together to develop and grow your skills together, that type of thing, you know. So, you know, all is not lost, but, you know, you have to be communicating, particularly if you're in a relationship, communicating what you want from that person, what you want to happen. You can't make them change. If they're like non-changeable, then that's it. You have to leave. Do you know what I mean? Because it's no good for you. So personally, for me, I can't be with a guy who doesn't mentally stimulate me. I mean, I could theoretically, but I think down the line, I'm going to get quite bored with that person. I'm not going to be stimulated. I'm going to think that it's more like a kid person. Do you know what I mean? I like a younger guy, don't get me wrong, but younger guys, just because they're younger doesn't mean to say they're not intelligent. Like, I like guys who usually go to university, who are very intelligent, who are developing themselves, growing themselves, you know, and learning and shifting the needle forward. You know, that's why I do get attracted to younger guys as well, because a lot of them are studying. They're studying degrees. They're very intelligent. Do you know what I mean? Whereas actually an older guy, say he's 50 plus, you know, he's kind of like not really doing that. He's not really doing any courses. He's not really developing and growing himself a lot of the time. So for me, like, younger guys, a lot more intelligent, a lot more adult, usually, if they're at university and stuff like that, they usually develop and grow themselves. So that's why I have a lot more in common with younger guys, believe it or not, in that way as well. You know, that's why I get attracted. Obviously, meeting a guy in a nightclub is not the same type of guy. You don't get the same type of quality of guy. You get guys in nightclubs usually that do want to just have sex. That's what they're there for, you know, and I do recognise that when I'm there, you know. So it's kind of difficult. It's not the best environment to meet guys in. Just in my personal circumstance, as you know, I like younger foreign guys, and if there's going to be a younger foreign guy that happens to like dancing, he's going to be there. My guy might not even like dancing. Do you know what I mean? I do, but he might not. I think he probably would be okay with it though. But, you know, I mean, if he's asexual, he might not even like that type of environment, because a lot of asexuals don't. But I do. I really feel really good when I dance, you know, and I still develop and grow myself every time I'm there. I'm growing my confidence. I'm growing my self-esteem. I'm growing my liveliness. I'm growing my my experience of dating or experience of potential dates or experience of guys again, you know. It can be quite nerve-wracking, but you know, I think, well, I've been on the asexual dating scene for a number of years now. I'm still staying in that, but there's no, you know, there's no harm theoretically in like going out to other places and trying new things. But I just love dancing there, you know. Like one of my friends like, why don't you go to a different club where this guy isn't? Because this is the club I want to be in. You know, I don't like the other clubs. So there's one club I hate because there's fighting there, so I'm not going there. And the only other club I haven't been to for years, it's not open a lot of the time. The club that I go to is the best club to go to, you know? And I don't want to not go there just because he's there. Why should I stop going? Because I was there before he was. Do you know what I mean? I love that club. I feel the most confident. I'm growing in confidence there. So it's really good for me. So it's just, I know he's going to be there and I'm going to probably end up dancing with him maybe sometimes. But I don't want to do that all the time because I've got, you know, there's other guys I need to be seeing, you know? And I don't know, you know, my brain's like telling myself, you know, be sensible, don't dance with him, just stop it. But then other times I'm like thinking, don't, you know, you have to live for life in the moment and enjoy your life as it is. And maybe that is dancing with him now and again. Do you know what I mean? Because like, don't deprive yourself at the same time. So it's kind of like, ooh, 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 ooh. But sometimes you just have to like, just have to calm the mind. Breathe in. Be nice and calm. And think in this moment, everything's fine. Everything's good. There are no problems. Everything's calm. And that's how we have to think sometimes, because otherwise the internal dialogue just literally goes off on one, or it does from my head, as you clearly seen tonight. But yeah, if you have got any friendships or if you're in a relationship, do yourself a self-assessment to find out what's happening really in that relationship or those friendships, to find out, you know, if these people are good for you still. Obviously, if they're good for you, maybe you need to see them a bit more this year, right? Maybe you need to set some more extra time aside to spend some more time with some of your good friends or best friends. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to clock that thing in. They make me feel really good. Maybe I need to see them a bit more than I have done in past. You know what I mean? So you can also use it as a self-assessment for that way. You know, it doesn't have to be a negative outcome. It could be a positive, like, actually, these people aren't, you know, really worth my time seeing because they're really like interested in me. Cut it. But these people who maybe I haven't seen as much as I should because I really enjoy the company and they make me feel alive, vibrant, energetic, I feel really good around them, maybe I can see them a bit more this year. So I think now's the time in January to do a good self-assessment of how you feel with your friends and your relationships with people, and really, you know, analyze that without trying to be too analytical like I am all the time, and you know, like really reflect on what you think's good and not so good. And obviously there may be situations with certain friends that you're just parking it. It's a big question mark. You're not sure about the person. Things may not have been going great with the person, but they're not bad either. They're just neutral, you know. And maybe you could just park a question mark and you don't have to do anything right now. So that's sometimes what you have to do in life. You have to realize that everything will unravel and unfold in its own good time. It's like with a Bangladesh guy, I'm sure everything will just unravel and unfold and everything will be tickety-boo and absolutely fine. And I won't even need to sit here talking about him or worrying about him anymore, worrying about my brain going off overload. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important to just like breathe and relax and chill. And, you know, if you just find that everything's fine with your friends as it is, relationships all going good, friendships all going good, you don't need to do anything. You just assess that everything's going well, keep doing what you're doing because it's working. So keep what you're doing, what works, and anything that you are doing that's not working anymore, then you know, you'd get rid of that, or look to before you get rid of it, obviously you'd have a word with the person, you know, to see if things can improve before you just get rid of it, unless you know really that person's no good for you whatsoever, and what have you been doing with your life with them? Do you know what I mean? Like, you clearly, it's a big like no out the door. So yeah, please take that opportunity for yourself to reflect in January. Please don't be like me and beat yourself up about it if you can't decide on certain things, if you're not sure. Like, it's taken me a lot of years to decide that about my friend from primary school, you know? It's not something that's overnight, and sometimes you're not ready to make those decisions. If you're not ready, it's not a good time. It's like anything, when you give up certain things in life, like if you give up alcohol, which I gave up at 19 years of age, right? If you give it up, you have to consciously decide, I want to give it up. And you have to put energy and effort and you know, really big feeling behind it. It's like with the Bangladesh guy, I know I haven't fully detached myself from him. You know, I know there's still stuff there between me and him. And so until I'm 100% detaching myself, do you know what I mean? I need to 100% detach myself, but I'll do it. I'll be done when it's ready. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you've still got more lessons to learn. You've got more things to learn about yourself and discover about yourself. You've got more situations to have to learn from. You know, you've got more things coming up that maybe you just don't know or can't see at the moment. Maybe it's not great things that are coming up. Maybe it's brilliant things that are coming up. Do you know what I mean? But all the life experiences help you in your future, you know, destiny, as it were. There's a quote by Steve Jobs, which is, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. And what this means is, like, you know, where you are today in your life is a direct result of every single little thing that's happened in your life, right? So if I hadn't have been in abusive relationships with guys in the past, I probably wouldn't be doing this channel right now. I wouldn't be able to have all this stuff that I put in this book, because I do share my personal story in this book. I've had so many different things affect me in my life that unless I go through them and experience them, I can't share and help others, right? So it has to be done, right? And sometimes, you know, like, you can meet someone who's not the right person for you, but they could end up introducing you to someone that is the right person for you. Do you know what I mean? Inadvertently. So, you know, all is not lost. Everything is good. And it's good to keep a positive mindset as much as possible and cut yourself some slack. I'm talking to myself here as well. Cut yourself some slack, girl. Cut yourself some slack. But yeah, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful tonight. If you have, please, 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 please do share it with a friend, and please give it a thumbs up. The thumbs up, really appreciate it. I know I've got 5 thumbs up already, and I love you so much. Thank you so much for being part of my community here. I absolutely adore each and every one of you. I want to say a big, big thank you to everyone in chat tonight. You've made a really good contribution. Thank you so much, Richard, and thank you in advance for getting my Asexual Perspectives book. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much, Nicoletta. I love you with all my heart. Thank you so much for your help and support, particularly in recent days. I really appreciate you and your time. I know your time is very precious. And thank you so much, Eddie, for being here and for your support as well. Really appreciate you. And thanks for my best friend Sam, who I adore and who is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and I wish you lots of peace, love, happiness, light, and everything else for 2020. You are brilliant and amazing just as you are, and never, ever, ever forget that. I love you all implicitly, okay? Until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's, and I will see you on the next video live stream. Don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button down below if you aren't already subscribed, and hit that great big bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And I love you all dearly, and thank you so much for being here. And if you've got any comments, queries, or questions in the meantime of anything I shared in this video, anything you're not sure about, please just put it down below in the comments in between. I'll endeavour to get back to you as soon as possible. Take care and have a beautiful, beautiful day or night wherever you are. Bye.